I hope I'm visible. Hello viewers, welcome back to another video. It's 18th of June, 18th of June 2026, and it's currently 10:15 p.m. at night. 10:15 p.m. means night, so that's dumb of me. Okay, so I was at page number 22. As you all know, I was reading the book Alchemist, The Alchemist by yeah, Paulo Coelho, and we left off at a very interesting point where I think the Arabian man, what was his description like? His description was he was the Salem, he was the king of Salem, king of Salem. Yes, if I'm not wrong, he was the king of Salem. Yes, I think he was. Yeah, I'm the king of Salem. Yeah, the shepherd boy was talking to the king of Salem. And at the end of it, he told him that you are going to stop finding your purpose. He came here to warn him that he was going to give up on his purpose, which was to travel and find peace, which was to travel and find new places, right? Because you are trying to realize your destiny, and you are at the point where you are about to give it all up, give it all up, and that's when you will appear, and that's when you always appear on the scene. And that's when you always appear on the scene. Not always in this way, but I always appear in one form or another. Sometimes I appear in the form of a solution or a good idea. At other times, at a crucial moment, I make it easier for things to happen. There are other things. Yeah, I was just I just started reading without starting up the timer. Let's set up the timer for 21 minutes and read. See, the book is very good. Book the book is amazing. That's why I'm trying to just go on with it without even realizing what's the purpose I'm reading it for. I am reading it to improve my speaking. Think I have not improved yet a lot. I do use a lot of filler words in between, which I don't want to use, and like I don't know. You guys tell me whether I have improved or not. It's been like I don't know what 13, 30, 34 days, 33 days. Yeah, it's been 33 days. So you guys tell me whether I have improved or not. If I have, then it's a good thing, and I'll continue doing it until I get the best. Not the best, until I get satisfied with what I say and how I say it. Oh, sorry. Clock. Clock. Where is the clock? Yeah. Yeah. 21 minutes as always. Let's start. Not always in this way, but I always appear in one form or another. Sometimes I appear in the form of a solution or a good idea. At other times, at a crucial moment, I make it easier for things to happen. There are things I do, there are other things I do too, but most of the time people don't realize I have done them. The old man related. The week before he had been forced to appear before a miner who had taken the form of a stone. The miner had abandoned everything to go mining for emeralds. For 5 years he had been working a certain river, and he had examined hundreds and thousands of stones looking for an emerald. The miner was about to give it all up, right at the point when, if he were to examine just one more stone, just one more, he would finish it. He would he would find his emerald. Since the miner had sacrificed everything to his destiny, the old man decided to become involved. He transformed himself into a stone that rolled up to the miner's foot. The miner, with all the anger and frustration of his 5 fruitless years, picked up the stone and threw it aside. But he had thrown it with such force that it broke the stone and it fell upon stone it fell upon. That it broke the stone it fell upon. And there, embedded in the broken stone, was the most beautiful emerald in the world. People learn early in their lives what is the reason for being, said the old man. Excuse me for sorry. We just wait for a minute. Yeah, I'm back. Mm. People learn early in their lives what is their reason for being, said the old man with a certain bitterness. Maybe that's why they give up on it so early. Maybe that's why they give up on it so early too. But that's the way it is. The boy reminded the old man that he had said something about hidden treasure. Treasure is uncovered by the force of flowing water, and it is buried in some currents, said the old man. Treasure is uncovered by the force of flowing water, and it is buried by some currents, said the old man. If you want to learn about your treasure, you will have to give me 1/10 of your flock. What's about 1/10 of my treasure? What about 1/10 of my treasure? The old man looked disappointed. If you start out by promising what you don't even have yet, you'll lose your desire to work towards getting it. The boy told him that he had already promised to give 1/10 of his treasure to the gypsy. Gypsies are expert at getting people to do that, sighed the old man. In any case, it's good that you have. I guess it is good that you have learned that everything in life has its price. There is what the warriors of the light that This is what the warriors of the light try to teach. The old man returned to the book of the boy. Returned the book to the boy. Tomorrow at the same time, bring me 1/10 of your flock, and I'll teach you how to find the hidden treasure. Good afternoon. And he vanished around the corner of the plaza. The boy began again to read his book, but he was no longer able to concentrate. He was tense and upset, because he knew that the old man was right. He went over to the bakery and brought a loaf of bread, thinking about whether or not he should tell the baker what the old man had said about him. Sometimes it's better to leave things as they are, he thought to himself, and decided to say nothing. If he were to say anything, the baker would spend 3 days thinking about giving it all up. The baker Yeah, what did he say about the baker? He said that it's just something, I think, horrible. Yeah, baker might also have a dream. He also might he also would have had a dream, but he didn't follow it. Yeah, he just compared the baker to him, that he's more important than you are in that way. He wanted to travel too, but he decided to buy his bakery and put some money aside. When he is an old man, he is going to spend a month in Africa. He never realized that people are capable. He should have decided to become a shepherd, the boy said. Well, thought about that, the man said. But bakers are more important people than shepherds. Bakers have homes, while shepherds sleep out in the open. Parents would rather see their children marry by bakers than shepherds. The boy felt a pang in his heart. The old man continued, in the long run, bakers become more important for them than their own destinies. In the long run, what people think about shepherds and bakers become more important for them than their own destinies. That's such a good line, man. I would have underlined it if I would have the pencil, but I don't have it now. So I'll leave it at like that only. I hope. No, I don't want to. I'll underline. I'll underline with a pen. I'll underline it with a pen. In the long run, what people think about shepherds, bakers become more important for them than their own destinies. Hmm. Sometimes it's better to leave things as they are, he thought to himself and decided to say nothing. If he were thought if he were to say anything, the baker would spend 3 days thinking about giving it all up, even though he had gotten used to the way things were. The boy could certainly resist causing that kind of anxiety for the baker. So he began to wander throughout the city, and he found himself the gates. There was a small building there, with a window, which with which with what? With which window at which people bought tickets to Africa, and he knew that Egypt was in Africa. "Can I help you?" asked the man behind the window. "Maybe tomorrow," said the boy, moving away. If he just sold if he sold just one of his sheep, he'd have enough money to get to the other shore of the strait. The idea frightened him. "Another dreamer," said the ticket seller to his assistant, watching the boy walk away. "He doesn't even have money to travel." While standing at the ticket counter, the boy had remembered his flock and decided he should go back and to being a shepherd. In 2 years he had learned everything about shepherding. He knew how to shear sheep, how to care for pregnant ewes. What do we pronounce it as? Ewes. Sorry for that. Ewes, ewes, ewes. Yeah, ewes. Ewes are a kind of female sheep. It's a female sheep. Okay. How to care for pregnant ewes, and how to protect the sheep from wolves. He knew all the fields and pastures of Andalusia. and he knew what was a fair price for every one of his animals. He decided to return to his friend's stable by this by the longest route possible. As he as he walked past the city's castle, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see the Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was from there that the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain. He could see almost the entire city from where he sat, including the plaza where he had talked with the old man. Curse the moment I met the old man. Curse the moment I met the old man, he thought. He had come to the town only to find a woman who could interpret his dream. Neither the woman nor the old man were at all impressed by the fact that he was a shepherd. They were solitary individuals who no longer believed in things. Solitary individuals who no longer believed in things and didn't understand that shepherds become attached to their sheep. He knew everything about each member of his flock. He knew when he knew which ones were lame, which one was to which one was to give birth 2 months from now, and which were the laziest. He knew how to shear them and how to slaughter them. If he ever decided to leave them, they would suffer. The wind began to pick up. He knew that wind people called it the Levanter, because on it the Moors had came to the Levant at the eastern end of the Mediterranean. The Levanter increased in intensity. Here I am between my flock and my treasure, the boy thought. He had to choose between something he had become accustomed to and something he wanted to have. There was also the merchant's daughter, but she wasn't as important as his flock because she didn't depend on him. Maybe she didn't even remember him. He was sure that it made no difference to her on which day he appeared. For her, every day was the same, and when each day is the same as the next, it's because people fail to recognize the good things that happen in their lives every day. What? What? He was sure that it made no difference to her on which day he appeared. For her, every day was the same, and when each day is the same as the next, it's because people fail to recognize the good things that happen in their lives every day that the sun rises. I left my father, my mother, and the town castle behind. They have gotten to me, me being away, and so have I. The sheep will get to used will get used to my not being there too. The boy thought. From where he sat, he could observe the plaza. People continued to come and go from the baker's shop. The young couple sat on the bench where he had talked with the old man, and they kissed. The baker, he said to himself. Without completing the thought, the Levanter was still getting stronger, and he felt its force on his face. The wind had brought the Moors, yes, but it had also brought the smell of the desert and of veiled women. I had brought I had brought it had brought with it the sweat and dreams of men who had once left to search for the unknown, and for gold and adventure, and for pyramids. The boy felt jealous of the freedom of the wind, and saw that he could have the same freedom. There was nothing to hold him back except himself. The sheep, the merchant's daughter, and the field of Andalusia were only steps along the way to his destiny. Next day the boy met the old man at noon. He brought six. He brought 6 sheep with him. I'm surprised, the boy said. My friend bought it. My friend bought all the other sheep immediately. He said that he had always dreamed of being a shepherd, and that it was good, and that it was a good omen. That's the way it was. It's that's the way it always is, said the old man. It's called the principle of favorability. When you play cards the first time, you are almost sure to win. Beginner's luck. Why is that? When you play cards for the first time, you are almost sure to win. Beginner's luck. Why is that? Because there is a force that wants you to realize your destiny. It's where your appetite with a taste of success. It's where your appetite with a taste of success. When the old man began to inspect the sheep and he saw that one was lame, the boy explained that it wasn't that one was lame. The boy explained that it was important, since the sheep was the most intelligent of the flock and produced the most wool. Where is the treasure? He asked. It's in Egypt near the pyramids. The boy was startled. The old woman had said the same thing, but she hadn't charged him anything. In order to find the treasure, you will have to follow the omens. God has prepared a path for everyone to follow. You just have to read omens that He left for you. Before the boy could reply, a butterfly appeared and fluttered between him and the old man. He remembered something his grandfather had once told him, that butterflies were a good omen, like crickets, and like expectations, like lizards and four-leaf clovers. That's right, said the old man, able to read the boy's thought. Just as your grandfather taught you, these are good omens. The old man opened his cape, and the boy was struck by what he saw. The old man wore a breastplate of heavy gold, covered with precious stone. The boy recalled the brilliance he had noticed the previous day. He really was a king. He must disguise to avoid encounters with thieves. Take these, said the old man, holding out a white stone and a black stone that had been embedded at the center of the breastpiece. They are called Urim and Thummim. 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 Urim and Thummim. The black signifies yes and the white no. When you are unable to read the omens, they will help you to do so. Always ask an objective question. But if you can try to make your own decisions. The treasure is at the pyramids that you already knew. But I had to insist on the payment of 6 sheep because I helped you to make your decision. The boy put the stones in his pouch. From then on, he would make his own decisions. Don't forget that everything you deal with is only one thing and nothing else. And don't forget the language of omens. And above all, don't forget to follow your destiny through to its conclusion. Before I go, I want to tell you a little story. A certain shopkeeper sent his son to learn about the secret of happiness from the wisest man in the world. The lad wandered through the desert for 40 days and finally came upon a beautiful castle high atop a mountain. There was it was there it was there that the wise man lived. Rather than finding a saintly man through our hero on entering saintly man, thought our hero on entering the main room of the castle. Saw hive of activity. Tradesmen came and went, people were conversing in the corners, and small orchestra was playing soft music, and there was a table covered with platters of the most delicious food in the part of the world. The wise man conversed with everyone, and the boy had to wait for 2 hours before it was his turn to be given the man's attention. The wise man listened attentively to the boy's explanation of why he had come, but told him that he didn't have time. Just then, but he told him that he didn't have time just then to explain the secret of happiness. He suggested that the boy look around the palace and return in 2 hours. Meanwhile, I want to ask you to do something. Meanwhile, I want to ask you to do something, said the bro. I didn't even. I have paused the timer for like 10 minutes. I'll read it for 5 more minutes and then I'll stop, okay? Meanwhile, I want to ask you to do something. I want to ask you to do something, said the wise man, handing the boy a teaspoon that held 2 drops of oil. As you wander around, carry the spoon with you without allowing the oil to spill. The boy began climbing and descending the many stairways of the palace, keeping his eye fixed on the spoon. After 2 hours, he returned to the room where the wise man was. Well, asked the wise man, did you see the Persian tapestries that were hanging in my dining hall? Did you see the garden that it took to the master? Did you see the garden that it took the master gardener 10 years to create? Did you notice the beautiful parchments in my library? The boy was embarrassed and confessed that he had observed nothing. His only concern had been not to spill the oil that the wise man has entrusted to him. Then go back and observe the marvels of my world, said the wise man. You cannot trust a man if you don't know his house. Relieved, the boy picked up the spoon and returned to his exploration of the palace, this time observing all the works of art on the ceilings and the walls. He saw the gardens, the mountains all around him, the beauty of the flowers, and the taste with which everything had been selected. Upon returning to the wise man, he related in detail everything he had seen. But where are the drops of oil and I interested you? asked the old wise man. Asked the wise man. Looking down at the spoon he held, the boy saw that the oil was gone. Well, there is only one piece of advice I can give you, said the wisest of wise men. The secret of happiness is to see that all marvels in the world is to see all the marvels in the world and never forget the drops of oil in the spoon. Happiness is to see all the marvels in the world and never to forget the drops of oil in the spoon. The shepherd had said nothing. He had understood. Never forget the drops of oil in the spoon. The shepherd said nothing. He had understood the story old king had told him. A shepherd may like to travel, but he should never forget about his sheep. The old man looked at the boy and with his hands held together made several strange gestures over the boy's head. Then taking his sheep he walked away. At the highest point in Tarifa there is an old fort built by the Moors. From atop its walls one can catch a glimpse of Africa. Melchizedek, 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 the king of Salem, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, sat on the wall of the fort that afternoon and felt the lavender blowing in his face. The sheep fidgeted nearby, uneasy with their new owner and excited by so much change. They all wanted all they wanted was food and water. Melchizedek watched a small ship that was plowing its way out of the port. He would never see the boy. He would never again see the boy, just as he had never seen Abraham again. Abraham again. After he charged him 1/10 fee, that was his work. After he, after having charged him his 1/10 fee, that was his work. The gods should have desired. The gods should not have desires because they don't have destinies. But the king of Salem hoped desperately the boy would be successful. The gods should not have desires because they don't have destinies. It's too bad that he is quickly going to forget my name. Melchizedek. It's too bad that he is going to forget my name. Quickly going to forget my name, he thought. I should have repeated it for him. And when he spoke about me, he would say that I am Melchizedek, the king of Salem. He looked in the sky, feeling a bit abashed, and said, I know it's the vanity of vanities, as you said, my lord. But an old king sometimes has to take some pride in himself. Bro, it's very philosophical. This book is philosophical, that's it. And the timer is also off, and I have read the part. See, the book is philosophical, that's for sure, and I think that's a good thing because I am I am emotional, but I am not able to read emotions or express them. So reading these philosophical books makes me understand different psychologies of people and what they're trying to say. I don't know what he said right now. Like, but the old king sometimes had to take some pride in himself. He, what was he thinking? I don't know. He was, I don't know, man. I just really don't know. Let me search it up first. Let me just try to think it first myself. What was the king thinking when he left the boy? Was he sad? I don't think he was sad. I think he was because he said that it was a pity that he would never remember him again or he would never see him again. But he was also happy because he wanted to see the boy be successful in achieving his destiny. The gods should not have desires because they don't have destinies. But this king of Salem hoped desperately that the boy would be successful. It's too bad that he is quickly going to forget my name. Thought is what was the last paragraph, man? He looked at the sky, feeling a bit abashed. What does abashed mean? Feeling a bit abashed. So he was feeling abashed. That was the feeling he was feeling. Abashed. Embarrassed, ashamed, or disconcerted, and said, I know the vanity of vanities. Why was King of Salem feeling abashed? Why was King of Salem feeling abashed? because he experienced a moment of human vanity, excessive pride. After charging the boy a fee and realizing the boy would soon forget his name, the king looked at the skies and admits taking pride in himself despite knowing it's vanity of vanities. If you want, let me know which specific part of the boy's journey are you analyzing. If you need philosophical themes of book explained, I can help you break down the symbolic meaning of King Salim's interaction. What are the philosophical symbol of when the king left the boy after charging him his sheep? Leaves. The transition represents several deep philosophical concepts about life. Nothing is free, investment creates value. Santiago must give up something valuable to prove his intent. No shortcuts. Letting go of comfort, the safe zone, the catalyst for change. The illusion of ownership. The king teaches that we don't truly own things, they hold us back. Oh, truth, the truth of Tethys. Tethys. Universal balance. The 10% fee mirrors the biblical concept of the thing. Melchizedek notes that if you promise what you don't even have yet, you lose the desire to earn it. If you promise what you don't even have yet, you lose the desire to earn it. That's true. That's really true. Let me underline it where he said that. If you start out by promising what you don't even have yet, you lose your desire to work towards getting it. What was King feeling at the end? Sail away, the king of Salem feels complex mix of desperate hope, longing, and slight vanity. Proud of your appearance or abilities. The king finally motioned desperate hope. He desperately hoped that Santiago will succeed in realizing his personal legend, melancholy, melancholy, and Acceptance, he knows that he will never see the boy again. Understanding that his work is simply to ignite the spark and then disappear. Vanity and regret, he feels a pang of human sadness because he knows Santiago will forget his name, wishing he had repeated it. Shame, he looks at the heavens, feeling abashed because he knows God should not have personal desire to or pride, calling his feelings vanity of vanities. Gods should not have feelings because they don't have destinies. Vanity of vanities. What does this mean? All is vanity. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. It's the famous opening and closing refrain from the biblical book of Exodus. It reflects on the fleeting, cyclical, and ultimately elusive nature of human achievements and material pursuits under the sun. A Hebrew linguistic technique similar to King of Kings used to express utter futility, extreme emptiness. Biblical Abraham. Who is Abraham? Yeah, who is Abraham? Who was Abraham King was talking about? The king of Salem was talking about biblical Abraham, originally named Abram. The Abram, Ram, yeah, the founding patriarch of Abrahamic religion. By referencing Abraham, Paul connect the characters of Moses to the book of Genesis in the Old Testament. In the original encounter in Genesis 14, after Abraham wins a major battle, he is met by Melchizedek, who is described as king of Salem as the priest of God Most High. 1/10 fee, just as Melchizedek demands 1/10 fee, Santiago received the alchemist. The biblical Abraham gave Melchizedek a tithe, or 1/10 of his spoils, in exchange for spiritual blessing. The symbol of continuation. The novel Melchizedek reminisces that he never saw Abraham again after their transaction. This emphasizes that his divine role is to provide a brief and crucial push to help great figures jumpstart their respective journeys. Before symbol of continuation reminisces that he never saw Abraham again after the transaction. Okay, so I don't know. So it was about Melchizedek, Abraham, and Genesis, book of Genesis. Okay, I'll write it down. Abraham, Melchizedek, book of Genesis. Okay, I think that's it for today's read. It's been long enough. I hope you stayed until the end. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next video. We're right up to page number page number 32. I think it's visible. I hope it is. This is the book. That's it, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And until then, go find your purpose, guys. It's very important. Goodbye.